Mindfulness at its core means being in the moment. This means we recognize that the past has already happened and the future doesn't exist. The only thing that is the present moment. Unfortunately, most of the time, our minds are so preoccupied with past events or what may happen in the future that we forget to be in that present moment. The result of this is that we don't fully experience our lives. When we're not fully focusing on the present moment and seeing it clearly, but instead being affected by past events or fear of future outcomes, we end up distorting our reality. As a group, our view of a situation today may in fact be that negative self-talk when worrying can cause a person to doubt their abilities, leading to destructive behavior. I'm still thinking, let's pretend to fall asleep now. When we get old, will we regret this? Too young to think about all that shit. Installing only goes so far when you've got a head start. We can stay at home and watch this sunset, but I get up from asking, are you bored yet? And if you're feeling lonely, self-concept is a focus on psychological in addition to spiritual sense of integrity through purpose of living in the universe. When someone loses this concept of psychological well-being, belonging in the world, and becomes unattached to others, this is where that person becomes socially isolated. This topic resonates with me. Life can come to a standstill where you just get lost. I picture this as getting into a car, driving with a destination in mind, but during this trip, however, you take a detour. This detour led to nothing but confusion. Now you're feeling stranded, not sure what road to go down. The option to call a friend is there, but you have no clue where you are, so nobody can come help. This journey brings on all the negative self-talk that you can't do this and you don't want to be a burden. Isolation is one among many destructive behaviors. Mindfulness has taught me to recognize when I'm isolating myself from friends in addition to family. Mindfulness taught me to trust that life has a plan for me. I can't allow myself to get caught up in the moments where my life takes on a different direction. I recently left my program that I worked 2 long, hard years to get into. I got depressed, which is when I started self-isolation. Mindfulness has taught me that starting over doesn't mean you're going back to the beginning. I'm not starting over. I'm building more stones towards a different brick road. Self-isolation is a destructive behavior, but mindfulness taught me how to sit with this discomfort. I went from one extreme from surrounding myself with people constantly to the other extreme of being completely alone. Mindfulness taught me how to cope with being alone but not feeling so lonely. I can say this, in that dark isolation of myself, if I didn't pay attention to mindfulness, who knows what other destructive behavior I could have turned to. Family will always be there for you. Sometimes you just have to let them know what you're feeling. Humans self-isolate when emotions of life tend to get overbearing. Isolating yourself only causes more mental health problems. Depression, anxiety, anger, suicide, food control. These are just a few examples of how that barely lit tunnel can lead to pitch darkness. Self-isolation will help accomplish nothing. When you self-isolate, you put off tasks that you would normally do, such as homework, laundry, chores, even pet care. Relationships have ended due to self-isolation. If you never bother to show that person how much they mean to you, they get a feeling that you don't care at all. This has been one major cause to many relationships ending. In this time of self-isolation, it's important to remember that you have friends and family always close by. Your friends or even strangers can inspire you to take a different approach to your life or find new hobbies. Surrounding yourself with people can only inspire you to try new things or go on new adventures. The warmth among kindness of family and friends can cure all of the darkest days. For this assignment, I was tasked to conduct interviews from my closest friends and family to see whether they self-isolated. To my heartbreaking astonishment, many of them have in fact took on the destructive behavior of self-isolation. This stems from them having negative self-talk that caused an overwhelmingly amount of worry. Many of them admitted to spiraling into a depressive state where they just thought they were better off alone. I assure you that they were not better off alone. I discovered that many of the things that they loved doing, they didn't want to do anymore. Their own relationships, with me including, took a turn. I, from my perspective, felt ignored from them, but I just figured they were busy. I had no idea what they were really going through, and that breaks my heart. So I implore anyone going through this destructive behavior of self-isolation to seek out and ask for help, or ask for a friendly hand from a family member or a stranger, because no one should have to go through self-isolation. No matter what you're going through, someone will always understand you. Just reach out and ask for that hand.
Got work to do. There's just not time for singing and dancing right now. We got work.
I don't really want to do the work today. I don't really want to do the work today. I don't really want to do the work today.
Procrastination, the action of delaying or postponing something. For my common challenge, I chose to research procrastination. I always pushed boring or difficult tasks to the side when I wasn't motivated enough or my emotions were overwhelmed, making me think about the past or the future rather than living in the moment. That was before I developed some mindfulness abilities. I learned to accept the fact that I was procrastinating, not judge myself, and decided to sit with discomfort to reduce the amount of worrying I did in order to limit the amount of destructive behavior from happening. Sitting with discomfort has been helping me overcome procrastination and get those certain tasks done. I realized that procrastination occurs in everyone's daily lives, so I decided to interview a few people in my life. Each person I interviewed was asked the same 2 questions, which were, do you think overcoming procrastination is important? Why or why not? And what do you believe the consequences are of not overcoming procrastination? The first person I interviewed was my boyfriend. I asked him if he thought overcoming procrastination was important, and his response was, yes, it is important because I feel like you wouldn't get anywhere. You'd be worried and stressed all the time. When I asked him what he thought the consequences would be, his response was, if I don't overcome procrastination, the consequences of that is failure. More and more things would pile up on your shoulders and you wouldn't have enough time to get everything done. The next person I interviewed was my mom. Her response to the first question was, absolutely, I always like to have my things done, otherwise it's going to be in the back of my mind. It can consume my day when I continue to constantly think about it. If I get it done and I do what I need to do, then I no longer have to worry about it. When I asked her the second question, her response was, you get reprimanded, which means poor work. It makes a mark on your well-being or yourself, and it doesn't set a good example of oneself. The last person I interviewed was my friend. For the first question, she said, yes, there's always a need to keep pushing and accomplishing what needs to get done. Procrastination needs to be overcome. Her response to the work, it makes a mark on your well-being or yourself, and it doesn't set a good example of oneself. The last person I interviewed was my friend. For the first question, she said, yes, there's always a need to keep pushing and accomplishing what needs to get done. Procrastination needs to be overcome. Her response to the second question was, if procrastination is not overcome, There will be consequences in whatever you are doing. You will possibly lose your job, not get the last homework assignment done, or even miss out on some of the most important events in life just by procrastinating. Overall, we procrastinate because our self-control and motivation are outweighed by demotivating factors such as anxiety or feel of failure. When people don't overcome procrastination, they don't succeed. They are being held down by the things they can't accomplish. It's important to overcome procrastination for many reasons. Procrastination is the easy way out by putting things off. It creates sloppy work and not your best work. There's less time for fun. It can create diseases, and so on. By overcoming procrastination, you can beat the deadline. It makes you more productive, you'll make the most of your time, you'll gain a lot more when not procrastinating, and there's so much less stress. Every single person on this planet deals with procrastination. Everyone has stress in their lives in different backgrounds. Everyone pushes at least one thing off. Being mindful and practicing meditation may help people overcome procrastination. It calms people down, clears their minds, and their emotions change. Maybe it can help people overcome this challenge. If more and more people overcome this challenge, more people would be motivated to do more things. A lot more tasks would be getting done, people would be less stressed out and a lot happier. Grades would be a lot higher and better when students get their assignments done. It will allow less stress in jobs as well, work would get done quicker, and more tasks would be available to start with working being done faster. People would have healthier lifestyles and better behaviors when they no longer have to worry about other things that need to be done.
Hi, my name is Jane Sargent, and for this portion of the project, I'm doing it on binge eating disorder. Alright, let's get into it. Binge eating disorder is defined as a severe, life-threatening, and treatable disorder characterized by recurrent episodes of eating large quantities of food, often very quickly and to the point of discomfort. A feeling of loss of control during a binge, experiencing shame, distress, or guilt afterwards, and not regularly using unhealthy contemporary measures like purging to counter the binge eating. It's the most common eating disorder in the United States. I did choose this challenge because I have friends and family that have struggled with this, including myself. There's no known cause for binge eating disorder, but a lot of factors can lead to it, like depression, anxiety, self-obsession, social media, a lot of different things. So, people typically find comfort when they eat food. I know, like, sometimes, like, after a rough day, I'm like, oh, I could really use a pizza. Not a whole pizza, but, like, a little slice of pizza would be great. But with binge eating disorder, they just don't have control over what they eat and how much they eat because of their disorder, which can lead to severe health issues like obesity, diabetes, and heart disease, a number of different things affected by your weight. Usually, binge happens once a month for about a week. People eat so much to the point of discomfort, and it usually comes with a lot of guilt afterwards, which then leads to purging or throwing it all up so they don't feel as guilty for their binge. It's a very sad disorder. This disorder has many theories of why it has came to light. Trauma could be part of it, social pressure, self-obsession, critical comments that people make about their bodies. I know, like, when people make critical comments about mine, I get really hurt, and it sucks. Difficulty coping with emotions, that could be it too. I was looking into it, and anxiety, when people feel anxious and they don't know how to handle it, they have some control over how they're feeling. Social media and society. This has a major impact on eating disorders, not just binge eating, but a lot of eating disorders. People compare themselves to celebrities and other people they see on the internet, and you can see it firsthand if you choose to look up you can look up body shaming ads, and you can just see it. We are shown from a very young age that, like, you're not supposed to have any fat on your stomach, like, you're not supposed to have a double chin, you're not supposed to have big arms, like, cover yourself, you need to be small, and it's like drilled into your head since a child. Example, Barbie. She's skinny, she's tiny, she's little, she's the perfect girl that we were shown from a very young age, and that's just toxic behavior. Now we can see more inclusive Barbie dolls, like with different skin colors and different weights, different heights, which I think is really great, especially if we're showing that to young children. Overall, the binge eating disorder has many people that struggle with it every single day. Our objective is negative self-talk when worrying can cause a person to doubt their capabilities, leading to destructive behavior. And in this case, I have to agree. If you're seeing a girl on social media and you're like, wow, I'll never be like her, I'll never lose this weight, I'll never be like them, it's the negative self-talk that's like kicking you and basically telling you you'll never be perfect, but we need to nip that in the bud and be like, listen, I am what I am. If I choose to change my lifestyle, then we're going to change it in a healthy and positive way rather than hurting ourselves more in the end. Yeah, everyone who struggles with this disorder need help, and the ability to thrive will only be if they accept themselves for who they are and work on themselves from there in a more healthy and positive way. Thank you so much for listening to my portion of the video, and I appreciate the time you took to listen to me. Thank you.
Procrastination, self-isolation, and binge eating are all examples of destructive behavior. It is important to overcome these challenges and move on from the past and live in the present moment. Making healthy choices and curbing self-destructive behaviors are critical for long-term success. Breaking bad habits is challenging, but it's important to stop unhealthy behaviors before they lead to a lapse or relapse. To wrap things up, reaching a big goal can take a long time and a lot of effort, but it's important to remember that not only are you not alone, but there are many people out there that are experiencing the same thing that you are right now. Being mindful plays a huge role in everyone's lives, and taking that extra step back to reality brings you one step closer to that goal you're trying to accomplish. Living life to the fullest and being in the moment rather than stressing out about the past or worrying about the future is the way to live. No matter how much it hurts, someday you will look back and realize your struggles changed your life for the better.